Welcome to the Finance Forum with myself, Abdu-Raof Hanslo. And once again, we have someone in the hot seat that's going to be taking us through a pertinent part of our lifestyles in South Africa. My guest this evening in the hot seat is Viola Brandt, Independent Financial Advisor for Africa First Diversified Financial Services. And we're going to be concentrating on that one thing that we require in our lives, that is healthcare. So this evening we're going to be concentrating on speaking about medical aid and affordable options for you, the public out there. Hi Viola, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, thank you. Now, you know, you come from a company that I know very well. And I've had, in that same seat, I've had Mr. Osman Capri before, where we spoke about financial advice and insurance. But different today. We're going to be speaking about something that's more of a risk option, but also covers various aspects of our lifestyles today. We all see in the news where the public sector healthcare is going, and I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. So I think as an introduction, Viola, if you could just give us a broad perspective of where medical aids are in South Africa at the moment.
Medical aid is a lucrative part of our lifestyles today. We basically need medical aid in order to have sustainable healthcare going forward. So from a medical aid perspective, it is affordable for people of all different household incomes. So whether you are a retiree, whether you are a student, or whether you are a person needing very expensive benefits, there are different options on different medical schemes which you can choose and which are available for the public.
Now, I know that, if one looks at the private healthcare sector, just going to the doctor by itself, if one looks at a specialist bill, for example, you're looking at bills between 900 Rand and 1,000 Rand. Correct. Just for one consultation. That's good. That's excluding hospitalization. So I know a few years back my wife needed healthcare and we didn't have medical aid at the time. It was shortly after we got married. And we took her to City Park Hospital, one of the main hospitals in town. And that hospital we had to put down a 10,000 Rand deposit just to be admitted. I'm sure it's more now.
Yes, it is.
So basically this scenario plays out to the sense that a medical aid to most people is a luxury, and medical aid to most people, they feel that it's beyond their reach and not accessible. So are there options available within medical aid schemes that cater for the middle to lower income bracket?
Yes, there definitely is. The only thing that the medical scheme expects from that household income is just to provide proof of that income. Okay, because then they place you on a certain category, and that is the premium that they will place your household income on. Okay, so if the husband and wife, for example, both don't work, okay, there needs to be some sort of proof in the form of bank statements, in the form of affidavits that needs to be provided to the medical scheme, and this will be renewed and looked upon annually. At that specific scheme, the specific scheme will request this. So at least once a year you need to send that through to them, and then they will keep on placing you on that lower income category. For example, if you, like I mentioned, the couple that actually does not work but they want the medical aid, all right, versus people that are actually earning over 20,000 Rand per month, they can choose the same plan, but they would pay different premiums. The benefits would be exactly the same.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I know that there's options basically that covers just hospitalization, and then there's options basically that covers everything.
Correct.
So we call that comprehensive. Sort of a comprehensive cover. So more or less like your car.
Yes.
So in that regard, the lower income bracket earners, would that just be a hospital plan, or would there be benefits available to them as far as?
No, the benefits are available to them. So it depends on the client. If the client still only wants a hospital plan, the premium would then be lower, versus if they want the full medical aid package, which is the hospital plus the day-to-day. Then they get placed in their specific income category based on what their household income provides.
Okay, now you know, from the Finance Forum side, we're always propagating fit and proper advice.
Correct.
And we always propagate methods of building the community financially.
Yes.
Also, we look at aspects of affordability. So in everything that we do on the Finance Forum, it's all about affordability to our community. So when looking at medical aids, and I know of one specific medical aid that people belong to that's for professionals.
Right.
However, for a family of 4, you're paying about 12,000 Rand for membership.
Right.
So in consideration, if someone's earning about 5,000 Rand a month, what affordable options are there? I mean, on a cost perspective? I won't hold you to it. Without mentioning any names, but from a cost perspective, what are the options available to
Right. So if you're looking at 5,000 Rand as a household income,
Yes.
and you may be only looking at a newly married couple,
Yeah.
right? So it's a principal and a spouse, you're probably looking at the region of 2,500 Rand. So half of their household income would then go to just hospital cover. That is without their normal day-to-day expenses.
Yeah.
That is admission to trauma. So trauma is a completely different benefit than being hospitalized.
Yeah.
So that is regarded as a day-to-day benefit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So these are all additional expenses that household income would have to pay besides their 2,500 Rand.
Okay. Now you also mentioned that that's the amount of money that's available to spend day to day.
Correct.
On a day-to-day basis, basically, would a person have to be going to a specific doctor, or could one just walk into any medical practitioner and say, I want treatment, and your medical aid will cover it?
Okay.
Or do medical aid specify exactly who you could go to?
Right. Depends on the different plan options that medical scheme offers.
Yeah.
So when I have my one-on-one consultations with these clients, I need to find out what is their household income and what are they prepared to spend from that household income. All right. So based on that, we would then equate as to, do you need a freedom of choice plan, whereas you don't want to be dictated as to what specialist you go and see. You want freedom of choice, you're going to pay for that. It's going to come at an expense. Versus if you take a plan where it is a lower income plan, you need to make use of network providers. Okay, so then the scheme dictates to you as to what service providers you have to use.
Okay, so that's not a bad thing in a way.
No, it's not.
Because it offers you affordability.
It does offer that.
But it's also not a good thing, on the other hand, to find the provider if one so needs. But as you said, from a cost perspective, the more you pay, the more benefits you receive.
You have freedom of choice for the more benefits that you have.
Now, I think what I'd like to do is basically just, and this first segment of the program, we specifically looking at the options available to members and how medical aids operate as a whole. So in that regard, when speaking about a list of doctors or medical practitioners that one can attend, recently in the newspaper I read an article that said that there's certain medical aids that's now cutting back on hospitals as well. So whereby they would only cover certain hospitals in areas compared to before where you could basically go for treatment at any hospital.
Yes.
In that regard, in an emergency scenario, obviously one's going to be rushed to the closest medical facility.
Correct.
Would that person be covered by under the medical aid?
Yes.
If it be an emergency?
Yes. If it's a life or death situation, that is regarded as an emergency. All right. Any hospital, any private hospital would then apply. So if you, for example, are on a scheme where they tell you that specific hospital that you're going to does not form part of that scheme, but it is an emergency, it would still be covered.
Okay.
So what would happen in that case is you would then be stabilized at that hospital, and then after you've been stabilized and the doctors have discussed your situation with your family, they would then move you to the nearest network hospital.
Okay, so basically that would cover your emergency scenario.
That's going to cover your emergency.
That would be a major issue to this. And the other thing that basically springs to mind as well is obviously motor vehicle accidents and so on. So I know that previously if one wasn't covered by medical aid, they would take you to a private hospital, you would be stabilized there and then transferred to a state hospital. But my question is a little bit different to that.
Okay.
Are there medical aids that specifically only allow you to go to a public hospital instead of private hospital?
No. All the medical schemes allow for a private hospital. Okay. It is the client's choice at the end of the day if they want to make use of a state facility.
Okay.
And most members, or I'll say most people over the age of 60, 65, are the ones that have been visiting your day clinics, all right? And they have been visiting specific specialists all their lives. So now they find that their children have placed them onto medical aids. They don't want to steer away from what they know, so they'll rather visit their specialists at the state facility and then have any procedures at that state facility. It would then still be covered by the medical scheme.
Okay,
Yes.
that's very interesting to know. Obviously, the state facility being, you would not be treated in a private manner at all at the state facility, be it medical aid or not.
Correct, but
So-
you would. After you have had your operation or your surgery, your recovery time, would then be in a private ward at that state facility.
Okay.
Okay.
And benefits, the benefits of these medical aids are basically set out by government. Something called PMB.
That's correct. It's the Council for Medical Schemes, and the Council for Medical Schemes actually regulates all of the certain procedures within the medical schemes.
Okay. Now this regulation body, obviously, there's many a times that we as the public, we go to specific doctors and doctors tell us that we have to pay in X amount of money, but this piece of legislation is unknown to most of the public. So within rights, would a hospital be able to charge more than what the PMB is? The minimum benefit allowed by the regulator.
Right, okay. So hospitals will only charge a medical aid tariff, okay? It is the specialists that operate within the hospitals that are allowed to charge above the medical aid tariff. And that is where most members actually find that they're having issues or gripes with the medical schemes. However, it is not the hospitals, it is the specialists that operate within those hospitals. And you find that most of them will charge between 100% to 500%. And when your medical aid or the plan that you've chosen only covers you at 100%, you're sitting with a huge out of pocket, that you've got to pay out of your pocket.
Hold that thought. We're going to go more into the finer details of the administration of medical aids after the break. So, you're watching the Finance Forum. This is Abdu-Raof Hanslo, and my guest in studio is Viola Brandt, Independent Financial Advisor for Africa First Diversified Financial Services, and we're speaking medical aid. Stay tuned. After the break, we look at the administration of the various medical aid schemes.